Hey, hi everyone, this is Mukesh from learn-automation.com. Today we'll mainly discuss on the TestNG part, and the main topic for today is how to execute only the failed test cases in Selenium WebDriver. So this part is related to TestNG. So let me show you what exactly you will get after this video. So today we'll discuss why generally our test script will fail. Generally, not only with Selenium, you will get this scenario with every automation tool. So today we'll discuss the possible scenarios why generally the test script fails. Then we'll talk about how to run only the failed test cases manually. So using Eclipse, we can execute. And the most interesting part, which I can guarantee no one has covered till now, how to execute the failed test cases using a plain Java program. So let's get started with the first one, why test fails. Sometimes, let's say you have a bunch of test cases, let's say 100 test cases, and out of 100, 90 is passing, but 10 is failing. So it's not mandatory all the 10 test cases is failing just because of scripting issue. There can be the multiple issues. So sometimes application is down, sometimes server is not responding, like you're not getting the enough content, or let's say the page is not rendering properly. Sometimes network issue, so sometimes your uh, Wi-Fi or LAN cable is not working properly, so it's not a scripting issue, just a network issue. Yes, sometimes it's a scripting issue, so you need to rectify your script, you need to identify. Generally, scripting issue, you can say the locator has been changed, or you have not handled any scenarios, or let's say any sync issues. So if it is scripting issue, you need to fix it and run it again. And finally, application issue. Let's say you are executing your test and some validation failed, and it's a real application issue. Then in case you need to talk to the respective developer, or maybe you can directly raise a bug, so it will be added advantage for you. So you can see in all these scenarios, you need to rerun your test cases. It doesn't matter what is the exact reason, but you need to run your automation scripts. So now you have two ways: either identify the failed test cases and run them, but you will get a separate XML today which will only contain the failed test cases. So you need to simply execute that XML. So let me show you. Yeah, so this is our project. Let me create a separate package. Let's say TestNG classes. Let me rename it TestNG classes. Let me create one test case now. Let's say test one. Let's say test case one. It make more sense. So let's say I have one test case here. So let me give a dummy test case name. Let's say test Facebook. And here I will simply print one like Facebook is working as expected. And I will surround this with annotation test. And I will import this TestNG. Now, if I write the Selenium script, this will take some time. So as of now, I have simply sysout statement here. I will not rewrite the complete Selenium code because the main idea of this video, the main logic which I want to show you how you can run the field test case. So I will create 3 test cases and one test case I will fail, or maybe 2. So let's copy paste and I will say test case 2, and in test case 2 I will say test Twitter. So this is also fine. Let me create one more test. I will copy and paste here, and this is test case 3. So now I have third test case. Let me change it to test WordPress. Yeah. So now I have 3 test cases, and let me fail this test case forcefully. So I will use assert and use assert of TestNG. So assert dot assert true. If you're not familiar with assert, then please check out my video assertion in Selenium. So in assert true, if I pass false condition, this will fail my test. So I'm just failing this forcefully so that I can show you how to execute failed test cases. So I have three test cases. Test case 1 will pass, test case 2 will pass because we have simply sys out a statement here. Test case 3 will fail because due to some assertion, and I did this forcefully. So now if I want to create an XML file, so let's right click on this package. You will get this option called TestNG. Convert to TestNG. So let me show you something. Let's rename it. You can see one location. By default, it is going to the project home directory. Let me rename it to uh, smoke test.xml. You can keep it as it is. It will be like same, but I generally rename it so that I can relate easily. And suite name I will give smoke test scenarios. And here I will give as sprint 1. So you can see what are changes we have done here. It's simply reflecting here, and I will simply click on finish. So I got this XML. If I simply double click on this XML file, this is the design part. I'm not interested in design. Let me click on source. So this is same XML. Here, whatever changes we have done, suite name is smoke test scenarios. This test name is sprint. Here we have three classes, is 1, 2, 3. If you want to arrange them in order, so this is the exact order. Now if I run them, so simply right click on this XML, run as TestNG suite. So as expected, yes, if you see three scenarios we have executed, one failed. So FB Twitter is working as expected. And if you see this graphical representation, two tests pass, one fail. So now how you will identify? So either you go manually and check, okay, this test is running, go and individually run this test. So right now it looks quite easy because we have only one failed test case. So let's say you have 10 or 15 test cases, or let's say 20, then you cannot run them. So either create again one more XML file and run them. But this is done automatically, handled by TestNG. So if you simply refresh your project, you will get this test folder. If I open this, so you need to check here. Now if I go back to the XML which we have created, the suite name which we gave smoke test scenario, right? So you can see it has created a folder over here. And if I expand this, you can see the sprint 1. So sprint1.html is created. So TestNG will generate report in two format. One is the HTML format, which is this. Let me show you in a browser. And another format is XML format. So if you can read this XML format, because it contains the same data which we are getting in browser. This is slow. Okay, so two test case pass, one failed due to the assertions. That's fine. Now if you go back here, you will get another report in XML format if you want to see. So let's open with XML editor. You can see it's weird, right? But if you check closely, it gives me some internal information about my system, which is the host, how many test cases, at what time I executed. So everything which we are getting on HTML, it's giving in a XML format. I'm not interested in XML, so I will simply go back here. Now, if you notice, we are getting one more XML file called testng-fail.xml. So this XML will only contain the information about the failed test cases. So if you see here, it is equal to the same which we have created. Now the suite name which it has been created, like sprint1 failed, which test case is failing, so it is failing test case 3, and which method is test WordPress. So it contains the information about the failed test cases. So now if I want to run this, I will simply right click, run as TestNG suite. And you will notice it will run only one because only one test is failing. So what I will do, I will quickly go here and if I simply change it to true, my test should pass. So if I right click and before running this, now if you simply refresh this, okay, so you can see here I'm getting one more folder. Let me close the unnecessary window, it will confuse you. So you can see we are getting one more folder now, failed suite. So if you run the testng fail.xml, it will create another suite for you, that is failed suite, and you will get the failed test cases report only. So let's, yeah. So now we have done the changes. So if you run this testng fail.xml again, your test will pass. Okay, WordPress working as expected. So this is one way. Another way is using programmatically, because every time now if you see the problem with this approach, I cannot go manually right click and run as. I want a smart way, like whenever my test case is failing, I should trigger another program which will check if this fail.xml is present, then run this. So how can we do this? Let me show you. So let me give a false value over here and let me close all the unnecessary windows. So let me create another package now, and this package name I will give as a runner. I will create a test runner here today, and this test runner class will be responsible to execute the fail.xml. I should have taken the public static void main, but it's okay. Let's write it manually. So public static void main. So today we'll introduce another class of TestNG called TestNG itself. So simple type TestNG test, or let's say runner, equal to new TestNG. So till now TestNG we're using only for annotations, right? But actually it is a separate class in TestNG package. So if you put mouse over here, you will get option to import this TestNG. So now guys, you need to be little bit careful here, because same class is present under com.bust.testng and the same class is present under org.testng. So let's take the first one. So this runner have one method called set test suite. So you can see the second last option, set test suite, like whatever test suite you will specify, it will simply run them. But as we can see, it is expecting a list. You can see it is expecting a list of test suites. So what we need to do now, we need to create a list now. List of a string. So this is how we do. So if you are new with this feature, then you need to refer one Java topic called collection. So this array list and list, these are coming from the java.util package. And as of now, you can consider this as a dynamic array. So whatever test suites, let's say you want to execute 5, 6. So at runtime, it will take the list. So let's import them. List I will import from java.util, not from java.awt. Same thing I will do for array list. I will import from java.util. So now I have this list object. So what I will do, I will add the XML file which I want to execute. So in my case, it is located under smoke test scenarios and testng fail.xml. So I will right click on this, and this is the complete path. So I will simply paste and let me give one backward slash again for every. Okay, so now you have this suite ready and you need to pass this list. So now we have done the set test suite. Finally, you need to say runner dot run. So run is the actual method which will execute the test. So let me explain this code again. We have created object of TestNG class. Then we created list of string. So in this list, you can add multiple XML file, but in this demo, I'm only giving one XML file. Just pass this list to this method called set test suite and finally run this. So if you simply right click, run as Java application, so you can see it is running the same suite which is getting failed, right? So right now I'm not simply going to the XML file, run it, and run as TestNG suite. We have created a small program. Now this program will always check if this file is present. It will simply run this XML, otherwise it will skip. So if you want to implement this in your framework, it would be good because it will help you to rerun your test. So let's assume after rerun also it is failing, then you need to check the exact issue because sometime rerun will help you, but if it is failing every time, then you need to check what is the exact root cause of the failed test cases. So that's all I have for today. So if you go back, we have covered everything. So if you still have any doubt, you can drop me an email or and the complete code you will get in the description. So I have written the same article. So just go to the description if you want to check more details. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.